Welcome back to another review and welcome to the inside of the Land Rover Range Rover Velar. Now this isn't your standard Range Rover Velar. This is the plug-in hybrid version. So here you've got electric power and you've got petrol power working together to give you all the power that you need as well as some really good fuel economy. So let's get into this review. The Range Rover Velar. Now I can see why this exists and why it appeals to people. That's because you're getting all of the looks and styling from the likes of a Range Rover Sport, but you're getting it in a more compact form, which is a lot more obviously easier to maneuver and feels like a little bit more of a smaller car, a little bit more nimble, and I can see why people like that. But the difference with this Range Rover Velar is that it is a plug-in hybrid, as I mentioned up front, and that means it's got an electric motor with lithium batteries to store all of that electric power, as well as a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine up front. So you've got the benefits of petrol, you've got the benefits of the super quick accelerating electric motors, and together you get 297 kilowatts and 640 newton meters of torque, which is quite substantial, and you definitely feel it when you put your foot down. It shoots you into the back of your seat very quickly, and it's very addictive too. But the benefits of a plug-in hybrid is that if I run out of this electric power, I can simply just keep on driving because I've got the petrol engine up front that I can use to drive a full tank of fuel's worth. So that's pretty cool. But the benefit of keeping your electric battery and all of that always full is that you always get to benefit from the fact that you're getting additional power, but you also in hybrid mode have the ability to get like 2.2 liters per 100 Ks of fuel consumption, because you're, let's say, 80% of the time driving in electric, but when the car needs extra power to go uphill or overtake, the petrol engine will then kick in and you'll then start to use your fuel that you've got obviously in the tank. And when the car then gets to a level or it feels like it doesn't need the petrol assistance, it'll go back to the electric motors again. So you're using very little fuel in amongst your driving situation and it's kind of solely relying on the electric part. Now, if you own a car like this, you're more than likely going to have a charger at home in your garage, or you can plug it in and charge it overnight like you do with your cell phone. So every day, you're more than likely going to have a full charge that you can benefit off of and drive with all the power that you need, or have some really, really superb fuel consumption figures. And I think that fuel consumption figure that they claim is pretty close, or it's actually pretty good. Now, I was getting close to the 3s. Now, I'm pretty sure if I was driving it a little bit longer with more battery power, I could definitely get there. But for majority of my driving, when I find myself just using the the petrol engine, I was kind of in between the 6s and now the 7s, which I'm slowly creeping into the 7s. And that's also not too bad. I mean, it's a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine. You're getting some good power out of it. This is also a heavy car. I think it's around, I don't know what, 2.8 tons. But I'll put the actual weight on the screen for you to look at. So of those fuel consumption figures, whether it's with the motor or if it's with the fuel, I don't think that that's too bad for a Range Rover. Now I'm parked here because I need to quickly have a look at the back left tire. The car told me that it's low, so let me quickly sort that out. Okay, I'm back on the road and we have just chatted about everything regarding the drivetrain, the engine, the electric motor and all of that stuff. Now, to speak a little bit more about the Range Rover aspect, now this is everything you want and need that requires a Range Rover badge on it. So you've got all of the beautiful styling from the outside. Like I said, you've got the Range Rover Sport looks, but on top of that, this is the HSE dynamic version. So you're getting all of the additional styling in terms of the bumpers. You're also getting those special, if they're called bonnet vents and things like that. And from the front to the back, this car looks really, really good. If not looking in too much detail, you could mistake it for an Evoque if you look quickly. That's just one of the downsides for me, is that the styling now with the new update that they've got, it looks very, very similar, but it is slightly longer to make it look slightly different. But this has also got the optional feature of the black tied badges and all of that. So you've got black tied badging all around the car, gloss black elements. So everything you see on this car that's gloss black, from even like the window trimmings to those bonnet vents I spoke about, to all the lettering around the car, that's all gloss black, and kind of ties into this overall stealth, murdered out look that this Velar has, which looks absolutely epic. I also love these wheels. These I think are the 20-inch ones that they've got on here. They've also got quite a bit of tire on them, so for me that's also a benefit because you're getting additional comfort, because with much lower profile tires on this car, you probably will start to feel the imperfections of the road and the bumps and stuff quite a bit more. Now, to speak around that comfort now, this doesn't have air suspension like some of the other Range Rover Sports and Range Rovers that you can get, and Discovery from the Land Rover family. This has got coil suspension just like the Evoque does, but you also have got adaptive suspension. So it doesn't have air, but you've got adaptive, so it will change and adjust accordingly to whatever drive mode you put the car into. Like if you had it in dynamic, it would firm up slightly. Now I've got it in comfort, so it's giving me a little bit more of a comfortable drive, which I absolutely love. This car is very comfortable to drive. You could do long distances in this very easily, and in those long distances you'll also get epic fuel economy. So this could be a very nice road trip car. And speaking of road trips, I did take this car on a bit of a drive through a nature reserve to see what it would be like to take a completely silent car on a game drive, and I actually quite enjoyed that. So we did about 90% of the drive through the game park in electric only. So I drove this car in complete silence. We creeped up to some animals, we were able to get quite close, get some nice pictures, and it was just a very different experience to go on a game drive in an electric car. So if you get the opportunity to do that, try it out, and you'll see that it's very cool and a very nice experience to get to see what it's like to get close up to animals and just have a silent drive without a diesel engine burbling in the front there or an exhaust out the back. Yeah, I can definitely get used to silent game drives. And then coming back to what makes this a Range Rover. Now, here you've got luxury touches and premium finishes and everything all around the car. You've got beautiful leather seats. You've got a dashboard and build quality that is up there with what you expect from Land Rover, not even just Range Rover, but together you've got the build quality of a very solid car. Nothing moves, nothing rattles, nothing squeaks. And you've got really good quality materials in here too. So you've got soft touch materials on the dash. It isn't leather wrapped, but coming down here, I don't think it's leather, but it could be vinyl that covers the dash as well as the door insides here. But the seats are definitely leather. I would have liked this interior to be black with a black roof lining. I don't know if that's an option, but that should definitely have been in this car to match what the exterior looks like. But you've also got this optional wooden veneer, which is actual wood. You can feel here, you can feel the what do you call it, the grooves in the wood. So that's a really nice touch. And with all of the gloss black accents, this dark wood trim, they've spec'd this car very nicely. And if you're going to get yourself a Velar, then you might want to look at this as to how to spec it out. You've got this ebony and ivory theme going on here. It carries through onto the steering wheel. I don't know how I feel about a light colored steering wheel. I'd probably get it dirty very quickly, but I'm sure if you look after it, then this could be a very nice looking interior to get if you choose to get a Velar. Now, if you do choose to get one, then go check one out on changecars.co.za. They're a website that sells new and used cars, but the best thing about them is that they vet and check every single dealership on their website. So they know exactly who they are, they know exactly what they're selling. You'll never get scammed, which means you'll also get the best quality vehicles from them. Change Cars website is also a hub for everything automotive, so you can go and watch car reviews, you can read articles, you can even do financial things like going to see what you can afford per month through their finance calculator and affordability calculator. You can also go and bring them a quote from a dealership on a car that's not on Change Cars, and not only will they match that quote, but they'll beat it too. So there's a lot of good things about Change Cars and a really informative website, so go check them out. They're also a proud partner of Greg Dennis Reviews. The inside of this Range Rover Velar is also packed with technology and cool kit. So in front of the driver, you've got a digital driver's display, which also nowadays should be something that you should see in all cars because everyone's moving in that direction. But you've also got this really nice curved infotainment display here, which is going to house all of your 360 cameras, all of your technology features. You'll be able to even see what your air quality is like through the air purification system. You can also adjust your drive modes. Your volume control is also done digitally, so they've removed everything to do with volume from the center console, which used to be here. I don't know how I feel about that, but anyway, it's something that they've done. You can also manage all of your off-road systems through this infotainment. Now there's a plethora of off-road systems here, so you've got a more of an in-depth 4x4 system you can look at. You've also got low traction launch. You've also got weight sensing, which is quite cool, as well as different terrain modes to choose from. So that's what makes Land Rover products so special, is that you've got different terrain response modes. So here I've got comfort, I've got grass, gravel, snow, mud and ruts, and sand. Now, like I've said, that's not going to adjust your air suspension because it doesn't have it, but it will adjust obviously the dampening as well as how the car manages traction, because you don't have low range either. So it does it all quite cleverly, and nothing that you have to worry about when going off-road. And even cruising through the basements here at Santon City, the car's in completely electric mode, even though it tells me my battery is empty. Like I've said, it always seems to keep some little bit of reserve in its charge for you to use at very low speeds, which is quite cool. So it's always making, or it's always benefiting from the fact that, oh sorry, I can't go this way. Sorry about that. But yes, so there's always a little bit of charge in the battery for you to use when you most need it, especially in times like this, when just cruising along and you don't want to have to use all of your fuel. So there really is a lot to like about this Range Rover Velar, from the outside design to the simplicity, the sophistication, the lines that it has, and how they've tried to keep everything so plain and minimalist. Now that's, you can see from the outside, because of even how the door handles go flush with the body. They try and keep those lines simple, but that's carried through here onto the inside as well, because as I mentioned earlier, there's no volume control. So they've taken everything away. They've tried to give you a very plain and simple looking yet elegant center console here, which has got a little bit of storage and wireless phone charging and USBs and all of that stuff. But just literally your gears or your drive mode selector, that's all you have down in the middle here. But otherwise, very sleek, very modern, very luxurious. I really do like this Range Rover Velar. But the only thing I don't like about it is its price. So this is priced from 2.2 million Rand for this HSE Dynamic. So yes, you're getting a lot of standard equipment, some of the technology and things like that, but there's a lot that you have to pay for in terms of optional extras on top of this, and I'll list some of them on the screen now for you to have a look at. But one of my favorite optional extras, which I think is definitely worth it, although I think still very expensive, is the audio system. So this is a 22 speaker 3D Meridian sound system, speakers all over, above me, behind me, at the back, underneath, one subwoofer too, and that's about 40,000 Rand. Yeah, so there's a lot that you need to consider when putting the price together, or to kind of spec your perfect Range Rover. I like fast, noisy cars. It's not this though. But yeah, your price then tends to skyrocket quite quickly. And that's going to include things like your driver safety systems, your lane departures, and all of that stuff. So it's a lot of money that you're spending on a car, but I think you're paying for the plug-in hybrid technology, the luxurious that you're getting, the build quality, and even just the Range Rover name. Now, you don't see a lot of Velars on the road, so this could be also a good option if you're wanting to stand out from the crowd. But yeah, to sum it up, this is 2.2 million Rand. So thanks for watching this review on the Range Rover Velar plug-in hybrid. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a little bit more about this car, as well as just how plug-in hybrids work. And if you did, please really drop a like below. And if you want to see more reviews like this and other car related content, then please subscribe. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.